This is Pat Blanchard, and I'm back with segment 5, Mom's Story, How the State Stole My Mother. Look at the beautiful picture of me and my mom in the background, and up under that, my family. Again, look forward to our webpage under the construction, saveourelderly.com. I'd like to share more about my mother's sisters who helped my youngest brother to have our mother placed in a nursing facility. The judge stated she gave guardianship to the public administrator, Tom Ayers, because of family discord. Wow. This was a joke to those of us that has cared for our mother the past 20, 30 years. LaFawn Moore Hoffman, also known as Majida Bahayuddin. Why do I refer to her as LaFawn? Because as LaFawn, she was a much kinder, caring, loving person than what I've seen in Majida. Did you know that Majida sued me? I countersued and won. This was 30 years ago, and for the past 30 years, Majida, Maddie, and other family members held this against my mother and me. They blamed my mother because I stood up for myself and won. Majida lied under oath at that time and again at the guardianship hearing. Majida packed the courtroom with elderly family members, then, hoping I wouldn't defend myself. Why was there such a crowd this time? Those that hadn't visited our mother in 40 years. Majida lied under oath, stating she sent our mother money. Was this 31 years ago? It sure wasn't any time soon. So here's a classic case of lies, even under oath, of those in politics. God knows the truth. She also stated I wasn't capable of caring for our mother, and our mother continuously comes off her medications. Did she ever try to find out why 90% of the time she became ill was because the jailed brother convinced her she didn't need her medications, or he didn't give them to her, and or he was overburdening her with caring for his children while he handled his drug and pimping activities? Not only did our mother take care of the jailed brother's children, he also brought their 6 siblings to stay in our mother's 1-bedroom apartment for months. He allowed his girlfriend or one of his ladies to stay in our mother's home when she had hard times. Mom couldn't tell the live-in brother no because of her disappointment or fear. Why didn't our mother's sisters know or care about any of this type activity? Because they never visited her. They never spent quality time with her. Why did the sisters, cousins, and aunts make a trip to Kansas City and not invite my mother? My mother's aunt shared that they were taking the trip. When I asked why my mother wasn't invited, we basically ended the conversation. I was at work at the time. By the time I arrived home, my great aunt asked that I not tell my mother they were taking the trip, and I shared I would. Maddie lives 5 minutes from our mother. Why leave our mother? Why did LaFawn care? She didn't visit our mom at her home, even when she was in town to visit Maddie. LaFawn never contacted me to inquire about our mother's health, though at my great uncle's funeral, she spoke with me about my mother's teeth missing and asked that I care for my mother. Why didn't the 2 financially able sisters offer to help? Why did my mother get sick? She loved her family, as I do, and they weren't there for her. Her sisters turned their back on our mother, the eldest child. Why? Because her daughter stood up for herself. Now, we were never really part of the family because we lived in Detroit until 1964. There were so many differences in how we were treated when we returned to St. Louis. Majida told one truth under oath, and that was that our mother would overlook the behavior of her children. I think this is true for most mothers. Though the statement was aimed at me, it definitely applied to my brother that's in jail. Even while at St. John's Place, our mother recognized that she tried to help her sons too much because they didn't have a father. If LaFawn had cared or visited, our mother may not have been in her current state. That's why she doesn't want to see them now, because they were never there for her. They're only there now because of their own guilt. Majida Bahayuddin's campaign fax states she understands, she will keep in touch, she will listen, she wants to hear, she is accessible when you need her. This is a joke. Why didn't she try to understand how our mother became so ill? Why didn't she keep in touch with her eldest sister? Why didn't she hear my calls of urgency to help my mother? Accessible? Why didn't she come to check on our mother when I and many others reached out to her? Why did she not even return one phone call to me or our cousin in Mississippi who tried to reach her on several occasions to help our mother? At the end of the guardianship hearing, Majida LaFawn told my godsister that she was a professional mediator. That's another joke. A mediator is one who serves to help reconcile differences. She didn't even attempt to do that. So because of her status and relationship, not family, family shows love and compassion, the courts believed her and discounted the statements of our godsister that's helped care for many in our family over the past 20 years. I have evidence to show that she perjured herself. Will she be locked up for perjury, as my mother has been locked up for so-called protection? She told the court she would make weekly visits if she was named guardian, and she'd be supported or helped by the cousins. Again, those that haven't visited our mother in any of her homes in the past 40 years. Why make a trip for the hearing and not a trip to check on the welfare of her oldest sister when called on more than one occasion? Our distance started many years prior, as one of Maddie's largest complaints was that I called my grandfather Daddy. My grandfather and I were extremely close, and I'll tell anyone, I feel I was closer to my grandfather than any of his grandchildren, and probably because I didn't have a father. I loved my grandfather so much that over the years I've requested photos from Maddie, even through others, and still she never gave me one. Cousins that were close to Maddie would share why they couldn't help me obtain a photo of my grandfather. Even when my mother requested a copy, it was denied. Check with those at Maddie's church, as I took my request for help there once I became ill. I started obtaining family history from my mother while at the nursing home, and she was happily surprised that I remembered my great-uncles with such gratitude. Maddie also lied under oath, perjury. She stated that she brought our mother clothing, as those supporting my plea for guardianship
was left with their mouths open. Maddie stated that she couldn't have a relationship with her sister, my mother, because of family discord. I'd like to ask you, who would stop you from having a relationship with your sister if that's what you wanted? Remember, our mother had her own home for the majority of her life. I wonder who prepared her, as she used the same exact statement as the judge as to why guardianship was awarded to Tom Harris, because of family discord. I'm not sure if lying under oath is a political thing or a more family thing, or both. Since our mother has been in St. John's Place, Maddie and LaFawn have sent flowers. I ask why now, where it's visible to many others, never to her home, never to her hospital stays the past 30 years. When I visited my mother, Majida and Maddie were present, and Maddie wouldn't move back so that I could sit next to my mother after asking her 3 times. Majida finally stated that they should leave and allow my mother and I time together. You should have seen them kissing all over her face and lips. For me, it was disgusting because I knew it wasn't genuine. My mother even stated she felt empty with their visits and was afraid not to see them because it would go against her. I told her to share this with Britain, but again, no one listened. But all were quick to listen when they thought she didn't want to see me. Where had Maddie been the past 20-plus years, living 5 minutes away, and didn't even visit, bring a meal, provide clothing, or financial assistance? When I included Clara McCaskill's office on emails of concern, I received an email response from Maddie asking that I join a round table. What a joke. She didn't even pick up the phone. Months later, I received a call from another representative from Clara McCaskill's office, apologizing for responding so late. I shared with her that Maddie was my mother's sister. And Maddie will tell you about the one trip where she took my friends in the front seat. Does this sound like you care about your older sister? My mother complained about this, as it hurt her heart. When Maddie had her 65th birthday and retirement gathering, my mother didn't want to attend, as Maddie didn't invite me or my brother, now jailed. I shared that she should go because it was for her sister, and we'd all go as a family. We did. Maddie included our mother at her table. However, she didn't include anyone else to sit next to her, as she did with LaFawn and others at her table. My mother sat there. They seldom conversed with her. So on occasions, I would go and check with my mother to make sure she was okay. Why would you not ask one of her children to sit with her? Maddie was quick to invite our mother to her campaign gatherings. Of course, our mother had to pay for her tickets. When Maddie retired from Boeing, did she invite my mother, her sister, or me, as I was a Boeing employee? No. Maddie is stuck on Maddie and wants to be like our Aunt Corrine Reed Owens of Racine, Wisconsin. My oldest brother and I, with our God family from Chicago, attended our aunt's 90th birthday celebration. Of course, as always, Maddie must have the limelight. There was no photos of our family included on the collage. She didn't ask us to speak on our mother's behalf since Mom couldn't make the journey. Why didn't her sisters make arrangements for our mother to be there? Her sisters, Maddie and LaFawn? They could have provided airfare, etc. We didn't know enough time to really plan for the trip. We were alienated most of the evening. But as always, God made sure we had a great time. We had to ask and beg to have photos taken with our great aunt. When LaFawn's oldest son was getting married in Italy, they didn't take any efforts to help our mother attend, knowing she wasn't financially able. When another of LaFawn's sons got married in Kansas City, we weren't even invited by LaFawn or Maddie. My cousin called me, and he invited us. When we tried to provide a seat for our mother, Maddie wouldn't let our mother sit with them. Again, she was alienated by her sisters. So I question, who's the follower and who's the leader in this sistership of Maddie and LaFawn's that don't include their oldest sister, my mother? So why is there family discord? Thanks again, and God bless. I don't know why I can't get this thing to stop. My baby girl. Yeah, I know, I heard you. I can press on that thing and it just takes her, it does not stop.